5 weeks later, Mr. and Mrs. Ike, Kamsi's parents, were at the State Auditorium to watch Kamsi participate in the finals of the 5th annual Inter-School Spelling Bee. Kamsi had scaled through the first, second, and third rounds to get to the finals.
Hello and welcome to Represented Podcast, Storybooks and More for African Kids. My name is Toyefalogi Ekezie and I'm your host on today's episode. This podcast aims to shine a light on the amazing content out there by African authors and content makers, which feature African characters. At Simone's Oasis, our motto is empowering the African child through entertainment. And so with this podcast, we make it easy for parents to discover books and more that have their children fully represented because #representation matters. Now, did you know? Luther College says children's literature helps students develop emotional intelligence. Stories have the power to promote emotional and moral development. Children's literature contains numerous moments of crisis when characters make moral decisions and contemplate the reason for their decisions. An important skill for children to see modeled. So I think I absolutely agree with that. Books are a wonderful way of which to create dialogue with children and to help them understand the harder things in life. And so that's why today we have an amazing guest on the show. In fact, all our guests are always amazing. And we have an author whose work helps children understand and develop emotional intelligence. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Genevieve Duruiheoma is a lady of many hats, most prominent of which are lawyer and author. When not protecting the interests of her clients, she is committed to advancing the campaign for better representation in children's literature. An early childhood literacy advocate, she has authored 3 children's books and is the mind behind Vevin Ventures, a flashcards producing enterprise in Nigeria. And stay tuned, you will meet Genevieve right after the break. I'm Toyefalogi Ekezie, and if you're enjoying this episode of Represented Podcast Storybooks and More for African Kids, brought to you by Simone's Oasis and Africa Business Radio, why not listen to our other podcast, Special Moms Africa? Real talk on special needs parenting. Don't forget to put on your notifications, like, and enjoy. Welcome back. And so let's meet her. Genevieve Duruiheoma, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here.
What a beautiful voice you have. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Listeners, can you hear that timbre of her voice? She sounds so sweet. So let's get her to talk some more. Genevieve, why and how did you get started as an author?
Why and how? Okay. Always dreamed of being an author, but life happens. So, found myself in school. Yeah, I love to be a lawyer, and it's really hard combining law with many other things. I got some call to the bar in 2015, and since then have been practicing. But in 2020, COVID happened, and I had a child, and it happened that I was on maternity leave. So I had so much time to actually pursue those things that matter to me. And that was when I decided to explore, because I love to read stories to children, but I had never tried writing mine. Had lots of manuscripts here and there, none completed, none published. But it was in 2020 during my maternity leave, and thanks to COVID, even when I resumed work after maternity leave, a lot of things were done online. So it was easier to manage work. And then there's my newfound love, which was writing books for children. So when I started was 2020 officially, though it dates as far back as I can remember. Then how I started was by just putting together things I would love to tell my children, things I didn't easily find out there. Because growing up as a child, we read a lot of books. When we went to our school libraries, you just find all those ladybird books, tales,
all the foreign
tales,
books.
and we couldn't really relate because we didn't see people with our kind of hair in those books. We couldn't see people with our skin color in those books. Yes, they were amazing and they still are amazing books, but I thought to write something that is homegrown, something that children can relate with and say, yes, I'm actually part of the world. So that's it.
I think that's a beautiful story you just told in itself, and how, you know, the COVID period really activated a lot of new authors, but also having a child activates a lot of new authors into thinking for the first time, really, what do we want our child to look at, be watching, be reading? What am I, what am I programming this child with? And you really have to think about those things. And even, and COVID was just made it more intense, that whole experience. Now, how do you get the ideas for your books? Because you've written 3 books so far.
Yeah. How I get the ideas? Well, they say the stream of creativity never runs dry, and you can actually get inspiration from wherever. Anyhow, from the question a child asks you, oh, mommy, I want some mangoes. And you're like, mangoes are not in season. And then I thought, children could actually get to know fruits that are seasonal. Yes. But how do I get this? How do I pass this on to them? And that was how Kamsi's Fruit Story was birthed.
Wonderful.
And then for It's Okay, Child, I just feel that there is a lot of damage done to many adults today that results from bad parenting habits, from the best of intentions. Trying to tell children how to, someone is crying and you're like, you shouldn't cry. Are you a baby? You sing for the child, cry baby. You want to see your mommy. As though crying is not human, as though crying is not normal. So I just try to find a way to correct in a subtle way, and in a way kids could also understand some of those notions we have about how children are expected to behave, and also to just introduce children to the not so perfect life. Because I'm like, you can't prepare your children, you can't prepare the path perfectly for your child, but you can prepare your child for the path. So since you really want the best for these kids and you really can't be with them all lifelong, everywhere they go, you can actually try by making them know that in life some things are inevitable. Failure is inevitable. As much as we hate it, you are going to meet people who are different.
Everybody is going to meet that at some point in their life.
So that's actually, inspiration comes from everywhere, from personal experiences, from interaction with children, from books as well. When you read other books, you may say, this is really nice. I would like to give it an African touch. I would like to make children relate more with it. Like I have some unpublished works, all those old tales, Cinderella, Snow White. I have retold versions that try to make them more African. So inspiration literally comes from everywhere.
So there's lots planned for the future. Now, you mentioned your other title, Kamsi's Fruit Story. What is the third one? What's the title of the third book?
Okay, the third one is Alpha Animals. So, perfect for preschoolers. It introduces the child to alphabet, but then learning each of the letter of the alphabet, you get to learn about an animal with that's its name begins with that letter. So you get to learn about the cheetah, the quokka. So you get to learn about important facts. It features some, basically that's what it is.
So you really kind of cover all kinds of topics with your books, and I love the fact that you really try to make them appropriate to the area where we're from, so that children can understand their environment. So I'm kind of excited to read this book. We are going to read It's Okay, Child on this episode. We have already summarized it, so why don't we go straight in to It's Okay Child by Genevieve Duruiheoma.
It's okay to be afraid. It's the 10th day of the school year and Kamsi returns from school looking all gloomy. What is the matter? His mom asked. You have been returning sad from school for 3 days now. We were so delighted about your new class. What went wrong? Is your teacher mean to you? Talk to me, his mom urged.
With a little hesitation, Kamsi replied, Mommy, I don't like Eric, my classmate. He takes my snacks every day and leaves me hungry. I am afraid he would beat me if I say no to him. He is so big and strong. Oh dear, you should have told me. Now look up. It's okay to be afraid. Sometimes, but you must learn to stand up for yourself and face your fears. When he tries to bully you again, use your words. Say no. And if he insists, report him to your teacher, okay? Okay, Mommy.
It's okay to cry. Now, tell me what happened in school today. Did you make any new friends? Did you learn something new? What happened during your break time? His mom asked as she fixed a quick lunch for Kamsi.
Hummed Kamsi as he thought about his day in school. I remember something happened today at the playground. Tolu bumped into the swing set when he was running. He cried and cried and cried. Tolu is such a baby. He just... Hey, Kamsi, Mommy interjected. It's okay for one to cry when one is hurt. Crying does not make Tolu a baby. It only shows that he is human too.
It's okay to be anxious. Just as Kamsi finished the last of his homeworks and was packing his books into his backpack, Mommy's phone rang. From Mommy's responses, it wasn't hard for Kamsi to figure out that Mommy was speaking to Miss Kinde, his English teacher. As soon as Mommy ended the call, Kamsi looked up to her and asked, She told you about the spelling bee, right? Oh, you knew about it. Why didn't you tell me? His surprised mom asked.
Mommy, I don't think I'm smart enough to represent my school in the inter-school spelling bee. I am sure that the other contestants from other schools will be super smart. Feeling pity for Kamsi, Mommy drew him to herself and said, I know you're anxious, but you know what? It's okay to be anxious or doubt yourself sometimes. But with adequate preparation, you can win that competition. You know, if you were not smart, you would not have been selected to represent your school. I believe in you. Feeling a lot more confident, Kamsi responded. Thank you, Mommy. I will start practicing right away.
It's okay to fail. 5 weeks later, Mr. and Mrs. Ike, Kamsi's parents, were at the State Auditorium to watch Kamsi participate in the finals of the 5th annual Inter-School Spelling Bee. Kamsi had scaled through the first, second, and third rounds to get to the finals. Kamsi was so hopeful that he would win the contest. He had prepared so well for the competition. After one long hour of a heated contest between Kamsi and Fumi of Great Strides Primary School, Kamsi lost to Fumi with 3 points.
As Kamsi descended from the stage, Mummy and Daddy ran to hug him, but Kamsi was sad. Mom, Dad, I lost. I failed. Kamsi lamented. Oh, sweetheart, you may not have won, but you did great. You should be proud of yourself for coming this far, Daddy continued. It's okay to lose or fail sometimes. In life, you win some and you lose some. I fail sometimes too. Hearing that, Kamsi looked into his dad's face, shocked. His mom added, Yes, we all fail sometimes. You only have to keep trying until you win. Don't give up, okay? Thinking of how to cheer Kamsi up, his father said, Hey, do you remember that wristwatch I promised to buy for you someday? We will stop at the stores on our way home and get it. Wow, it's a good day, isn't it, Kamsi? Now cheer up, cheer up, cheer up, his mom said as she tickled his sides. Kamsi giggled away.
It's okay to like any colors. Kamsi could not even wait to get to the car to strap his new wristwatch onto his wrist. He loved it so much. Just before they got into the car, he rushed and gave his dad a big hug and said, "Daddy, I really love this wristwatch. Thank you so much." "You're welcome, son. Now get in the car. It's getting late," his dad replied.
As they drove home, Kamsi wanted to make a conversation. "Mummy," he called, "did you notice the little girl at the store? The one that came with her mom to shop sneakers?" "Yes. How about her?" Mummy inquired. Kamsi continued, "She picked a blue pair of sneakers instead of pink. She's a girl and should not be wearing blue." Kamsi! Blue could be her favorite color, and it's okay for anyone to like any colors. Liking blue color does not make her a boy, Mummy explained.
It's okay to make mistakes. It is the last Saturday of the month, and Kamsi woke up so excited. His friends Ola, Idris, Jide, and Ese are coming over for a play date. "How can I help, Mommy?" Kamsi asked. "Go and dust the furniture in the living room while I mix the cake batter," his mom replied. Off, Kamsi ran to clean up the living room. As he cleaned, he sang aloud. Krrrr, went the beautiful porcelain figurine from the TV console onto the hard floor. Hearing the smashing sound, Mommy hurried to the living room to find Kamsi gathering the broken pieces on the floor.
"I'm so sorry, Mommy. I didn't know that my duster was hooked to the figurine spike. When I moved, it fell. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm so clumsy," Kamsi muttered as tears dropped from his eyes. "Leave the broken pieces. They will hurt you. I will clean up myself. Now come," Mummy beckoned on Kamsi. "It was an accident. It's okay to make mistakes sometimes, but you must try to be more careful next time. Wipe your tears, okay? Now, go and get me the broom and dustpan. I need to clean up before someone gets hurt."
It's never okay to be ashamed of doing good. 3 hours later, the whole house is filled with the sweet aroma of cupcakes, meat pies, chin-chin, and puff-puff. Kamsi knew his friends would have a swell day.
"Thank you so much, Mommy. You are the best mom in the world," Kamsi said as he washed the dirty dishes. Just then, the doorbell rang. Gring! Wiping her hands with the kitchen towel, Mummy replied Kamsi, "You're welcome, son. Now, hurry up. I think your friends are here. I'll get the door." "No, Mummy," Kamsi said briskly. "Wait a little while. I'm almost done. I don't want my friends to see me doing dishes. They will say I'm doing a girl's chore." "Come on, Kamsi. Don't ever say that. Washing dishes is not a girl's chore. It is everybody's responsibility. Now, listen up. It is never okay to be ashamed of doing the right thing. Understood?" "Yes, Mommy. I'm sorry." The end. Wow, Genevieve. I just love how you've captured almost these little stories within a larger story. Because a reader can essentially kind of join all the dots and create a bigger story around all these little stories that you hit. And it's really wonderful to read. Definitely as a mom, it's going to be a pleasure to read this with my son. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Can you tell our listeners where to find you on social media, your website, all that good stuff?
Okay. Once again, thanks for having me, and listeners, thank you for listening to the end. You can find me at ve.vin_ on Instagram. Yes. And then on YouTube, you can find me on Raising Genesis with Vevin.
Wonderful. Now, quickly, what is Vevin? Okay.
Goes back to my kids again. Vevin, a coinage of their names. One is Vera, the other is Kevin. So VE from Vera, KIN from Kevin.
I love that. Clearly your inspiration.
Yes, yeah.
I know, it's so wonderful. Shout out to Vevin. They're like celebrities with the combined name now. And that's it for us right here on Represented Podcast, Storybooks and More for African Kids. I've been your host, Toyin Faluki Ekezie. You can find me, Simone's Oasis, at Simone's Oasis on all social media. Till the next time. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. Odabo. For sponsorship inquiries, you can DM us at Simone's Oasis on social media or send an email to hello@simones-oasis.com.